Unscrolled, as you'll see, is a book, but really it's a jubilant invitation. This is not your grandpappy's Torah, right? It's not your ancestors' Torah.
54 people took the time to reflect on what this piece of the Torah means to them. And I love reading through the book because I feel like I'm dipping into the minds of 54 of my favorite people on the planet.
I kind of, am excited about all things that reinterpret Jewish traditions in a way that make them more resonant for today's humans. We're going to encapsulate it into sort of fun, Twitter-ish way, and then we're going to go deep.
An eye for an eye. Blasphemers must die. Priests marry virgins and sacrifice unblemished animals. And try to remember, do not date and eviscerate.
The rhythm of the phrase, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, as I was thinking, I'm like, it sounds like Dr. Seuss. And that's how it started.
Now think of the eye for the eye and the tooth. Why, it sounds so unfriendly, it sounds so uncouth. Though intended to moderate vengeance, instead, it makes people grow eyes in the back of their head.
The Torah is a book filled with strict rules, family fights, and the threat of disease. Sort of like being at the community pool on a Sunday.
There was that kind of a hodgepodge of twisted association to some of my personal experiences. So that's what I wrote about, and I'm a cartoonist, so I drew some cartoons to go along with my story. So you could, if you don't want to read everything I wrote, you could just look at the pictures.
Like a lot of the text in the Torah, it's pretty bananas. This is a section of the Torah where God is basically telling you what's going to happen if you don't abide by his laws, and some of those things are pretty horrific. It's like a Stephen King novel. It's bad. And, this is the gangster God. The fact that we are in this constant struggle with it produces wisdom. If it was a much more coherent document, it would be less use to us.
My tweet was, just when you thought the Bible was totally ridiculous, you actually read it and discover it's way more ridiculous.
They get to this part where the Jews are battling the Amaleks, and Moses figures out that if he keeps his arm up, they'll win, and if he puts it down, they start to lose. The first thing I thought of was, this is a crazy sports superstition.
If Lord our God, King of the universe, forbid, in the middle of a battle, I interrupt Moses with a question, even during a lull, he freaks out at me and has to walk in 3 circles around his lucky rod of God, chanting, we will smite you. Smite you.
Moses sits at a big glass conference table across from 2 paunchy middle-aged men in suits.
Abraham insisted that I sit down with you guys. I know that you really helped him out when he had that problem with his kid.
Punchier slogan might do it. Want faith? You got it. Get it? Get it? Goes down easier than your plagues and wormwood and what have you.
You were seen putting Isaac on top of a pile of wood.
He was meant to be a burnt offering.
Excuse me? You told me you were willing to kill your son just because he asked. Not because you were afraid of him. Are you afraid of him?
For me, it was about looking at my own mistaken and fractured ideas of myself and God, because I think they're one and the same, and then trying to heal some of that through supplication, through prayer. Teach me the true meaning of the garden, the snake, the apple, and the fall. Scrub from my mind the lazy, oft-told tales of punishment, trickery, and abandonment. I just wanted to clear away some of the cobwebs around God and get rid of a lot of the cliches and unearth, for me, what felt more like an active, vital presence around the divine.
No matter what, this thing is going to be around you. It's like air. So you might as well find a way to respond to it that is meaningful to yourself.
Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for this new beginning.